Hello, everybody. And thank you for joining me on Underneath the Hat podcast, which airs every Saturday on my Underneath the Hat YouTube page. I am speaker, author, and podcaster Cherie Simmons, and I'm so happy and grateful that you are joining me for this episode of our season 3, episode 2, all about blessings and lessons. So, as I stated before, this is season 3 of Underneath the Hat, and I'm so excited about the things that we've been able to do over the last couple of years. Um, Last week was our kickoff of season 3, where I explained the idea between blessings and lessons, and how I came about the idea. And just these last couple of months have been very informative and reflective for me. And so I wanted to be able to share those ideas that and things that I've gone through that have been blessings and lessons and what I've learned from them. And also we're going to have guests come on that are going to share their blessings and lessons as well. So before I brought on more guests, I wanted to share with you all some things that have been happening with me. So last week I shared about the new things that have occurred in my life from my second divorce and the lessons that I learned from that and how it ended up being a blessing. And so this week I'm excited because I get to talk about something that I've been working on the last couple of months, and that is my road to my 40th birthday. So I will be the big 4-0 on July 3rd of next year. And so I decided that leading up to my 40th, I would do something to create memories. Now, for those of you that know me, you know I am a daredevil. I have swum with dolphins twice. I've zip lined 3 times. I've ATV'd. I have skydived. I've parasailed. I've jet skied. I've snorkeled. I've bungee jumped off of the Stratosphere Hotel in Las Vegas. I'm a little crazy and I love roller coasters. So I decided that instead of going on trips, which is something I love to do, is travel, instead of going on trips and being a daredevil, I would create memories. And so I decided for my 40th, I would visit places that I have never visited before. And so it started out with me looking at a map of the United States. Can you see it? It's like slow crazy. Okay. So I pulled out a map, and I've been blessed enough over my life to have visited most of the United States already, from college tours to church events and trips, and just traveling over the years from me marrying the first time and then getting the bug to love to travel to now. I have visited over half of the United States. And so I wanted to go to places that I had never been before. And so I sat down with the map and with my Southwest app up on my phone. And I just started making a list of places that I wanted to go. And every month I said that I would go visit a place that I've never visited and spend a weekend there. And so July, I was in Cancun, Mexico. And then in August, I went to Fort Myers, Florida. And then I also went to Louisville, Kentucky. And in September, I was supposed to go to Cincinnati, but I changed it. Ended up going to Jacksonville to celebrate my grandmother's 76th birthday. October, I actually got to visit. October, I was supposed to go to Iowa, but I didn't go. And I went in November to Omaha, Nebraska. But I actually did get two for the price of one because there is a bridge in Nebraska called the Bob Ferry Bridge. Bob Ferry Bridge, where it in the middle of the bridge, you have 1 foot in Iowa and 1 foot in Nebraska. So I was actually able to visit Nebraska and Iowa at the same time and simultaneously by walking on this Bob Ferry Bridge. So I have been basically on my path to visiting one place I've never visited before every month leading to my birthday. So for December, I'm going to a different part of Texas that I've never been to. I've been to Houston, which I love. I've always said if I ever relocate, it will be to Houston, Texas, Sugar Land to be exact. But I'm going to visit a different part of Vegas in December. And then I have my location up to for January, February, March, April, May, and June. And then the Peace de Resistance is I will be spending my 40th birthday in the number one spot on my bucket list, which is Rome, Italy. So I am so excited that I'll be able to use my passport and travel internationally outside of Mexico because I've been there a few times. But I actually get to travel over a whole different ocean and spend a very long time on a plane and get to visit the one place that I have always wanted to visit, which was Italy. I chose Italy, or the reason that Italy is on my list is because I love Italian food and I am a foodie. So I didn't want to spend all that money going somewhere where I could not enjoy the food because most of the trip is spent eating at some point. And I didn't want to go anywhere where I would have to it will result in me eating foods there that I could eat here, i.e., a McDonald's. Every country has a McDonald's. I did not want to eat at McDonald's in a foreign country. So I want to go somewhere where I know I can get food that I like. And I love Italian food. And so I am so excited that I get to spend my 40th birthday in Rome, Italy. And I have some family members that are coming with me. I have some associates and friends that are planning to join me. But like I told those people, if nobody goes, Cherie is going. Because we all know that I will hop on a plane and travel somewhere by myself in a heartbeat. And I am not missing this trip at all. I don't care what's going on. Unless this puppy of mine goes to be with the Lord, that is the only reason I'm gonna miss my trip. Uh yeah, he will be the only reason. But I am so excited. I love to travel. Even on my bracelet, I have a passport here on my bracelet because I love to travel and I love to eat. So the burger and the fries are right next to it, and right next to the burger and the fries is my little doggy. So I am so excited to be able to do this and to bring in my 40th year with a bang and to be able to say that I have visited 75% of the United States by June of 2022 and to have just gone and done things that I never would have done. So when I went to Nebraska, I'm sorry, let's start Louisville. So when I went to Louisville in August, I took my mentee with me and we drove down there. So I picked places first that I could drive to, which is something I don't like to do. I don't like to drive. I would prefer to fly. And I have a rule: anything over 3 hours driving, I'm flying. I don't care how close it is. And I'll explain that. You'll see what I mean later. But I knew Louisville was about 3.5 hours, and I normally go visit my grandmother 2, 3 times a year in Jacksonville, which is 3 hours away. So I figured if I can do that, I can do Louisville. So I picked a couple of places the first couple of months that I could drive to, and driving into Louisville was great. We checked into the hotel. Um, we grabbed something to eat. We went and took pictures. What else did we do? We went to the Belle of Kentucky or Louisville, and we got on the their steamboat, and so we did a tour on the steamboat and had lunch on there, and then we just did a lot of picture taking. We went to the Louisville Slugger um place, and I was able to get me a bat. So I was able to get me a personalized Louisville Slugger bat at the museum. And I also picked one up for my new boss because I was just starting my job as an assistant principal. So I got her a personalized bat too. So yeah, and then we ate. I think we went to the mall, and then we ate and came back. So it was just a 2 day thing. Um, but it was good to be able to see a different place and to not do some adventurous stuff, but to just live in the moment and see what the world, other things that the world has to offer. And after Louisville in August, I then went to Nebraska a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't drive, I flew. I flew, and it was like an hour and a half flight. And when I got there, God, my memory is bad. When I got there, I went by myself. And once I got there, I always do early flights so that way I can at least have the majority of that traveling day to do stuff. And so I got there and I had a great Uber driver who was able to tell me a lot of the great places to go and eat. And so I was able to go to this restaurant called Early Bird. And I went there and the food was good. And then I also went to the mall. I went to the mall and I went to the Bob Ferry Bridge, and what does that go? It's this place called the Market where you can go to different restaurants and things. It's like a whole row of restaurants that you can go to. So I did that, and then I also went to Spencer's Steakhouse, which was great. Now, my favorite restaurant in the world is Morton Steakhouse, but I can say I've never had a steak there. I always get the shrimp. I love shrimp. And so I've never had a steak. So I figured since I'm in Omaha and Omaha is known for their steaks, I have to go to a steak restaurant and I have to order a steak. So I ended up going to Spencer's, and the steak was delish. Um, but the best food there, I told you I was a foodie. So I also went to see King Richard. Now my memory's coming back. So I went to see King Richard at the movie theater. And this was my first time in the movie theater in a very long time. Last time I saw a movie was when I treated my family and friends out to celebrate my promotion, and we saw Respect. So that was in July, August. So I haven't been to a movie since then. Um, but I went to see King Richard, and there was a restaurant. Oh my God. It was called, I don't know, but they sell Detroit style pizza, and so I got a buffalo chicken pizza with their loaded French fries. That pizza was shaped like a square and it was cut into fours and it was so delicious. I went to the movies that Friday when I got there. And I mean to the restaurant that Friday night. And I left Sunday. And I ended up going back to that place to get a pizza before I left. So with the time I had to waste before I went back to the airport, I went and ate lunch there again because that pizza was so good. It was good. Yes. I don't know what the name of the restaurant is. Backlot somebody, but it's near the movie theater in Omaha, Nebraska, and the food was amazing. So much so I went twice in a weekend. So I really enjoyed myself. The only downfall was I ended up stopping for ice cream before I went to the airport and left my debit card there. So thank God everything was able to be canceled, but it didn't ruin my trip. So I really enjoy being able to just get away. And the one thing that I love about traveling is that is my time to woosah, relax, relate, release, as Whitley would say on A Different World. And I got to woosah and I got to hear God. God speaks to me most on vacations. Now I talk to him every day now, but he shows me what my next steps are. When I'm away from everybody, I'm unplugged and I can just sit down and hear him. No distractions. I'm in a totally different place. I don't have to worry about what needs to be done. That's when he speaks to me the most. So I go on trips knowing that I'm going to come back home with a new mission, a new vision, a new goal. And Omaha was no different. So I had a great time. It was just enough days for me to do what needed to be done. So I'm excited for the next trip for New Year's Eve in Texas. And then all of the trips leading up to the big ultimate trip for my 40th birthday. So I would say that the blessing that I got was being able to have a job that allows for me to be able to go on a weekend and the finances to be able to do it. And then also having the sense enough to unplug because a lot of people don't know how to stop and breathe and be still. And it's necessary. I am a firm believer in taking care of myself now because I see what happens when you don't. And so, for all of you out there that are watching and listening, it is okay for you to take care of yourself. Self care is not selfish. Let me say it again. Self care is not selfish. If you can't afford to go out of town for a weekend, but you can afford to go to a movie theater by yourself or go out to eat by yourself, that's self-care. Do something where you are able to unplug and just be silent and still in order to take care of you. An empty cup, glass, mug, whatever your preference is of drinking utensil. An empty vessel cannot refill someone else. If you are on empty, you cannot help someone else to be full. So you have to take care of yourself first. Please take care of yourself first. It's okay to say no. I have something to do. Every month I go and get me a facial or a massage. Every month. That 1 hour on that table with someone rubbing on me is great because I get to either sleep and think or I just get to unwind and relax and not worry about work and other things. It is okay to take care of you. It's It's okay. The lesson that I've learned is basically the same as my blessing. To be able to know that it's okay. It's okay. It's a blessing to be able to unplug. And that's my lesson, is to know when to do it. When my body was telling me, okay, you're doing too much. And it happened a week before I went out of town. I am an educator. And so being around all those kids and then the whole COVID thing, my body started feeling icky and I thought that I might have had COVID. So I left work early to go get a COVID test. And it came back negative. But when I went home and sat down, you ever sat down and your body, it felt like your body just exhaled? It's because I was doing too much. I had been moving since I first started the job. So I had not sat down for 3 months, which my friend told me was new for me, because normally it'd be time for me to go on a vacation, because I try to do one every quarter. But I hadn't done one. And so the vacation I did take before I officially came into the school building, I was still working on the vacation. Never have I ever taken a laptop on a vacation. I did it that one time because I had just started the job, but never ever again will I. Because that's my me time. And so I haven't really vacationed since before my surgery in April. I took a vacation in March. So I haven't really had a vacation except Mexico. But yeah, it had been a while, a couple of months since I had taken a vacation in Wooside. So my body was telling me it's time. You have to listen to your body. Your body tells you things. Your mind is telling you things. Your heart is telling you to do things. And we need to learn to listen to ourselves. Because if you won't listen to you, what makes you think somebody else will? So my blessings and lessons are one and the same. To take time for me, to do what I want to do, what makes me happy. And this road to 40th travel itinerary is what makes me happy, because it's something I love to do. There are places that I've never been and I can create new memories for it. And I'm so excited for what's to come. So I want to encourage you all to do all that you can to take care of you. Make you a bucket list of stuff you want to do. And you might not be able to do it every month. You might only be able to do it every 6 months or once a year. But do something that you've never done before that you've always wanted to do. And save for it so that you can do it. So make sure that you like and subscribe to the Underneath the Hat podcast. You can check us out on Anchor, Overcast, Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker, and Pocket Cast. Well, all podcast platforms. That's where we will be. You can also find us on YouTube. Look up Underneath the Hat podcast, and you can see all of this season's episodes along with the previous seasons. And again, check us out on all podcast platforms. Make sure that you share the video. Let people know about the podcast if you're listening. You can also sew into the program. Cash App $YLAAT 2017. Or you can Zelle at youngladies@alltimes@gmail.com. Again, I want to thank you all so much for all that you do of supporting Underneath the Hat podcast and for supporting me. I appreciate you. And like I always say, remember to take care of yourself underneath that hat, even if that means you have to take that hat off and relax, relate, release. So do what you can to take care of you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next week.